Call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Commissioner Allen,
Present. Here.
Commissioner Siragusa,
Here.
Commissioner Roberts, here, Commissioner Stallings,
Here.
Commissioner Orr,
Here.
and Mayor Pankinen.
Here. I'd like to introduce one other person that we have sitting up front with us today. We are honored to have the Oklahoma Kid Governor, Mila O'Brien, with us today. So, ma'am, we are so pleased that you could join us today. Item 2, invocation and flag salute. Invocation tonight will be by Dan Scheidel. Flag salute by our own OK Kid Governor, Mila O'Brien.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for the men and women who serve our community, who are on this council, and for their leadership roles and for their families. Please provide our leaders with reminders each day of why they decided to dedicate their lives to public service, and use that commitment to encourage them. Give them peace when their work takes them away from their families. We also pray specifically for the wives and husbands and children of our leaders. We ask that you draw near to them and give them the wisdom on how to best support one another while their loved one is away working. Heavenly Father, we also just thank you for your might, your wisdom, and justice, through whom all authority is rightly administered, laws and enacted, and judgment decreed. Let the light of your divine wisdom direct all business here tonight and shine forth on all the proceedings and the laws framed for our rule and government, so that they may tend to the preservation of peace, the promotion of happiness, the increase of industry, unity in our community, and useful knowledge, and may it spread to us the blessing of equal liberty. Finally, Father, as your word says in Ephesians 4:29, let no unwholesome talk come from our mouths, but only that which is helpful for building one another up and those in need, and building and bringing grace to those who listen. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Scheidel and Madam Governor. Appreciate that. Item 3, minutes. 3.1, consider approval of minutes of the regular commission meeting of February 23rd, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Having a motion and a second. Do I hear any corrections? Any other comments? Seeing none, please cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 4, awards, proclamations, presentations, proclamations, and organizational business. Item 4.1, present pet available for adoption at the city's Animal Welfare Department. There we come.
All right, this evening I have Ducky. Ducky is a 2 to 3 year old lab mix. She is spayed and microchipped. Her owner never came out to claim her. She's ready for adoption. She's located in Pin 4. She's a very sweet dog. She's a little timid at first, but she doesn't meet a stranger. She loves car rides. She'll jump right up into the truck and when she's ready to go.
All right, thank you. Yeah. All right, item 4.2, consider an appointment to the Enid Joint Recreational Triad Board of Directors. We have 6 people that are interested in that position, and only one can fill the vacancy. So we will ask each of those that are available if they'd like to speak. Start with Grant Mason.
Thank you guys for letting me come up here and speak. I've served on the EJRT board the last 3 years. I'm looking for another term. I currently serve as the board president. Over my time, I think we've made some pretty good strides between us and the city of Enid. I'd like to continue that work. I think we're headed in the right direction, and I'd really like another 3 years to stay involved in that and help where I can. Are there any questions of me?
All righty, thank you.
Thanks.
Jenna Spencer. Stephanie Pendergraft. Kim Stevens. James Stevenson. John Smithson. Okay. All right, you have the ballots in front of you. Go ahead and vote for whoever you'd like, and then circle your name. While we're doing that, we'll consider the next one. It's consider appointments, 4.3, consider appointments to the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission. We have 4 people that are interested in that, so we'll call each of those. Cole Ream.
Hello, my name is Cole Ream. I've been serving on the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission for a few years now. I've had an opportunity to work with some of you directly, some of you I haven't. I hope that changes. I hope to get to work with you on different projects. And I really do sincerely thank all of you for allowing me to serve my community. One of my favorite sayings is, I hope we can make Enid the best Enid we can make it, and I hope for your consideration to continue to do that. Thank you.
All right. Billy Varney.
Hello, I'm Billy Barney. I've served with the city in the police department for years, no longer there, but I want to have a voice and help shape Enid for all of us and our future generations. So can't complain if you don't put in some work.
Okay, thank you. Walker Henson. Chloe Fuchsa.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Chloe Fuchsa, and I am an applicant for the MAPC. You already have my application and my resume, and I sent an email as well last week laying out what some of my priorities would be. As I said, I studied geography, political science, and history in college, and I have over 3 years' experience in state government and over 4 years' experience as a small business owner. I've attended the last 2 MAPC meetings in person and watched numerous other ones online. What I really enjoy and appreciate about the commission is the range of issues that it deals with. There are simple things like lot splits for a single individual, and there are more complex things like the proposed solar farm that we heard last week. I find it all really quite interesting, the whole span of topics. I've lived in Enid for most of my life. I was born and raised here and then returned after going away for school. My family, like many others, there are 3 and 4 generations of us here, so I get it. I want an Enid that suits my 85-year-old grandmother as her independence declines and her healthcare needs rise. I want an Enid that suits my parents as they near retirement and consider where they'll spend their golden years. I want an Enid that suits people like myself, young professionals and young families looking for good jobs and good parks and good childcare. And I want an Enid that suits my little cousins. Are there good schools? Are there good sports facilities? Can we retain them here after graduation? I think Enid is a really special place, and I believe, Mayor and members, that with my education, my experience, my interest and passion, I could help as we strive to make Enid the best city it can be. Thank you for your time this evening and for your consideration.
All right. Okay. You have the ballots in front of you. There are 4 people. We can select 2. So please cast your ballots and circle your name. Okay. While they're counting that up, the results are in from the Enid Joint Recreation Triad Board of Directors. It's customary to read off each commissioner's vote and who they voted for. This case, that's fairly easy. Grant Mason received votes from Commissioners Allen, Norwood, Saragusa, Roberts, Stalling, Orr, and Mayor Pankinen for 7 votes. Congratulations, sir. You are on the board.
Thank you, guys.
To all others that applied, I'd like to say thank you very much for signing up. The city runs well when people are involved in city activities, so nothing makes me more happy than to see several names on each one of these appointment requests. So don't think of it as I didn't get selected this time. Think of it, I didn't get selected yet, and please continue to apply to help your city. So anyway, appreciate that. All right. Consider appointments to the Board of Directors, Board of Adjustments, I'm sorry. There's 2 applicants and 2 vacancies. Incumbent Jimmy Nicholas seeks reappointment, as does Michael Shook. Oh, no, Michael Shook is term limited, and there's 1 new applicant. It's John Smithson. So since we have 2 applicants for 2 positions, we can just accept a motion in a second. If we
To approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, if you wish to have them, go ahead and cast your ballots. Okay, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Meadow Lake Golf Course Advisory Board has 1 vacancy. Incumbent Robert Adamson is seeking reappointment, and there were no other applicants for this position.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Cast your ballots. Okay, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Okay. All right, the totals for Metropolitan Area Planning Commission, Cole Reeman received 7 votes, all 6 commissioners as well as the mayor. The other votes were as follows. Bill Varney received 2 votes, Commissioner Zaragoza and Commissioner Roberts. Chloe Fuchsa received 1 vote from Mayor Pankinen, and Walker Henson received 4 votes from Commissioners Allen, Norwood, Stallings, and Orr. So the second person, Cole Ream and Walker Henson, will be the 2 people that are on that board. Congratulations to you both, and again, thanks to all others who signed up, and please come back and do that again. Appreciate it. Congratulations. Okay, item 5 is public comments. Before we start, we've heard a lot on a couple of different topics over the last few meetings. One being elected officials who have been voted into office, and there was some discussion about that, and I think plenty of discussion. I think everybody knows what the status of that is. And the second is the library board. Again, there's been a lot of information. There's a lot of things moving on that. So there's not that much new information that I think can be brought forward. For that reason, if you have any comments on either of those topics, we're going to limit speaking for 1 minute on those 2 topics tonight. And if you have new topics that you would like addressed that are not those 2, then the full 3 minutes will be allowed. Timekeeper for tonight's going to be Fire Chief Courier. He'll let you know when you have 30 seconds left, and also let you know when your time has expired. That said, we'll just go through the list from top to bottom like we usually do. First, Mr. Friar James Neal. And I didn't see him. Okay, second, Wendell Shaw.
How many seconds did I got? Can I get up there in time?
We'll start when you get here. How about
I
that?
timed it 100 times, 3 minutes. Okay, so I don't really have anything to add. It was about people calling us Nazis, and I was just going to share a little experience. I will say one thing, though. I have had the privilege of visiting 2 actual former concentration camps. I've seen what actual Nazis do, and I've stood on the graves of their victims. so I don't need anybody telling me that I'm a Nazi. Thank you.
All right. Patricia Shaw and Matt Nicholas, you'll be on deck.
So obviously, I won't be able to read all mine either. So I just wanted to point out that some of the names calling and the articles in the biased newspaper citing the Southern Poverty Law Center, do your research on them. They are a far-left extremist political organization that their goal is to smear and slander any pro-life, pro-family, conservative Christian organization or politician. And the newspaper, even in its own article, said that the accusation against a certain person we all know was unverified. And yet people are running with it and saying how our city is getting a bad name because we elected a Nazi and all this crap. They're giving us a bad name, not him.
Okay. Matt Nichols and Marlis Nickerson is on deck.
Okay. My information I'm going to read has nothing to do with the library board. It's on new information that's come to light, dealing with the library, but not the library board and not the, so I request my 3 minutes.
Well.
Because it's not dealing with any issues that you're currently highlighted as 1 minute issues.
All right, go.
Okay. In December, I emailed your IT department a video in which our library director called a book filled with graphic sex scenes a beautiful read for children. I plan to show this during public comment at the next city council meeting. I now have in my possession an email from Gerald Gilbert to the IT department stating we are not going to show this in public comments, so I'll be the one to explain that tomorrow when Matt desires to show his video. I would like you to remove it from the folder so we don't send it out or play it accidentally. Instead of replying to my email request, Gerald intentionally blindsided me at the meeting, knowing that this would prevent me from preparing a transcript to read out loud. I don't appreciate the way he limited my comments and censored them to favor his agenda. I feel it cowardly. The release records also include this disturbing statement by library staff. And this is what they said. I have a separate voice channel for Homo sapien members. No one who's not in this channel can see it or see who's in it. You can join the call, plug in some headphones, mute your microphone, and listen in. If you would rather not be happy.
I think you're talking about some of the same things that we've already been talking about. That's the Discord thing, and that's already been.
These are all new records that came to light that could not have been talked about before because we didn't receive them until last week.
Yeah.
It's hearsay without knowing the name of the book.
It's not the book. These are public records. You can ask the city attorney for a copy.
Decorum.
I think it's, yeah, I think the issue has been discussed, and while it might be new information, just because there's another email that says the same thing doesn't mean it's a new topic. So I appreciate your concern, and thank you very much for your remarks, but I think we'll limit it right there.
Thanks for letting us know where you stand on this issue and on
Yes.
protecting children.
I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the fact that you once again are censoring what I write.
Okay.
Or what I speak. Thank you.
Okay.
Please remember, we do have a beautiful little child here in the room. Let's respect these children. We want to protect children. Let's protect their ears.
All right. Nickerson, Mark?
Mr. Panikin?
Yes.
Marcus Nichols.
Marcus, okay. I couldn't see the way the first name was written. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank you for attending the Black History program last week.
It's my pleasure.
We really appreciate that.
Yep.
I'm not here to do any name calling, but as a member of the Enid Social Justice Committee, we will no longer stand by and be silent and accept that evil and hatred behavior. We will challenge, we will oppose, and we will protest any type of behavior that we feel is filled with hate, okay? any type of racial hatred, okay? We all deserve to be treated fairly and respectfully, and we're gonna expose this in Enid America.
All right. John Gray? John Gray. And next up will be Michelle Solano, I'm sorry. Solano.
Good evening. John Gray, I'm the chair of the Enid Social Justice Committee. I want to speak briefly on what I see as a heightened racial tension in the city of Enid, which is nothing new. Historically speaking, Enid has been rife with various forms of racism in the past. My family has been here since 1889. My parents were almost burnt out. I had a cousin who was kidnapped by extremists, and fortunately my grandfather got a phone call saying, "This is where your grandson is, you need to go get him." He fortunately was able to do that. I have an uncle who was the first black, I'm forgetting, anyway, at the high school. And he and my grandparents received death threats almost on a daily basis. I have an uncle that recently ran for the position of mayor who received death threats as recent as 4 years ago, or whenever the last election was. So I'm here to make a stand against any form of racism or any other kind of ism that keeps us from coming together as a community. It is time for us to collectively put on our big boy pants and stand against anything or anyone or any organization or organizations that keeps us from coming together and putting not only a good foot forward with regards to how we interact with each other, but also on a business perspective. If we get the reputation of having a certain racial viewpoint that's going to be impactful, and it's going to be inversely impactful, and the city of Enid does not need that. I'll tell you one brief thing and then I'll be done. When I was 9 years old, I was here for my family reunion. My grandmother gave me $5 and I had that $5 burning a hole in my pocket. "Grandma, take me downtown, take me downtown, take me downtown." "I'll take you downtown, just wait." As I'm from New Jersey originally, I walked downtown because, hey, that's what I did in New Jersey. I walked to school, I walked wherever I needed to go. When I came back, my grandmother wanted to beat me, and I said, "Why?" "Someone could have done something to you." I was afraid someone would have done something to you, which could have been those very same people that attempted to burn out my grandparents.
Michelle and then Kathy Reed.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I would like to thank you all. Thank you, Commissioners and Mayor. The last time I spoke to you about help for the elderly and people with disabilities, you listened and approved and permitted the elderly to ride for free of charge until January 2023. Thank you very much. Now that program has stopped, the elderly aren't able to go and enjoy the company of others, one of which I know they cannot afford the $2 one-way ride. I personally took an elderly lady to Walmart this Saturday. She wanted coffee and cat food. I recently found out there are several elderly people not able to attend the senior program that I was a part of helping get back at Booker T. Washington. I am sure other areas of their lives are suffering also. I am a concerned citizen and a representative for the disabled, pleading for the elderly. Thank you for your time and consideration. God bless you all. And I have one more other statement. My name is Michelle Solano. and I'm Mitch Sanford's sister. My brother was hung in a tree in 1979, but we're just gonna leave that back. In kindergarten, my parents had told me all about racism, and I just saw it on TV. And when in kindergarten, I was called a nigger. And I beat the girl up, went to the principal's office, and then later on the same year, same teacher, Miss Estes, we were doing a Halloween project. We had to get construction paper. And the little boy's name was Robert. He was always getting in trouble because he was always touching stuff. So he grabbed his piece of paper and she said, "Put that nigger down!" And he picked up a black piece of paper. This is what I experienced in kindergarten here in Enid, America. So thank you, and God bless you.
Kathy Reed? Hi.
Hello. Hope that's okay to move that little person. Good evening. I believe back in April of 2022, I emailed you all as well as the library board. I'm a librarian from the public schools, and now I am the library manager out at Vance. There are a lot of things to consider when you are looking at library situations. You all have probably become more aware of library and what goes on behind the scenes than you ever cared to.
30 seconds.
The one thing that I keep in mind is that there are things on the shelves that I wouldn't choose to read, but I put them there because of the First Amendment right. We all have the right to information. You don't have to read it, and I understand that people may not like it, but that's a parenting choice, not a library and City of Enid choice. Thank you.
Wade Burleson? Oh, didn't see you. And Margot Holmes on deck?
Okay, this has nothing to do with library board or city commission, except to say thank you for all your work. And I've got some good news I want to share with everyone tonight. The largest minority ethnic group in Enid, Oklahoma are the Marshallese. I have been working for over a decade to help this ethnic minority group in any way possible. And not only me, but the wonderful people behind me, providing housing, jobs, all kinds of help for folks who really could use a hand up. This past month, I walked into every state senator's office at the Capitol and asked them to pass State Senate Bill 682. I also wrote an article about that bill. It allows Marshallese, men and women, to obtain a commercial driver's license, even though they do not have the legal paperwork to obtain one. Most of you probably know Marshallese are the only ethnic group in the world that can enter the United States without a visa. So when you go down to apply for a commercial driver's license, they cannot get one. Well, I just heard today, after our efforts in loving these wonderful minority people, the Senate voted 46-0 to allow them to obtain their commercial driver's license. I would encourage, that's worth applause. I would encourage everyone in this room who own a business, I would encourage our city manager, everyone in a position of hiring, to consider hiring our Marshallese brothers to do professional commercial driving. They need the work, and frankly, I am proud to live in Enid, Oklahoma, among men and women who fight for minorities to give them work and a hand up. God bless you all for what you do.
Thank you, Pastor. And in fact, today we had Enid Day at the Capitol, and Senator Peterson came in right after that vote and let us know that it passed. So thanks for your efforts there. You do a lot for our community. Yes, ma'am. And Norman Gray, you're on deck.
Hi,
My name is Margot Holmes, and I have the pleasure to serve as Programs and Development Coordinator for Adults at the Public Library of Enid and Garfield County. I just want you to know that I am committed to defending the constitutional rights of all individuals of all ages to use the resources and services of the library. I champion and defend the freedom to speak, the freedom to publish, and the freedom to read as promised by the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. I stand opposed to censorship and any effort to coerce beliefs, suppress opinion, or publish those whose expression does not conform to what is deemed to be the norm. The unfettered exchange of ideas is essential to the preservation of a free and democratic society. Parents have the right to guide their children's reading, but parents should not be making decisions for other people's children's. Books are tools for understanding complex issues. Limiting young people's access to books does not protect them from life's complex, challenging issues.
Mayor Gray?
I'll keep it brief, which is against my nature. But I just rise to express my concern about the censorship and book banning at the library. You know, we find out from history this is not a good thing. You associate it with repressive places, not America. It's un-American. There's some serious constitutional questions. And my question is, who makes these decisions for everybody else? It's just not right. And it concerns me, and the circle gets tighter and tighter and tighter as to what's permitted. And I just don't think it's a good thing. It's just not American.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. Item 6, community development. Item 6.1, hold a public hearing regarding a request to rezone the property located at 908 West Elm from R4 Residential Multifamily District to C3 General Commercial District.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Brief presentation on this request. It's a request to rezone property at 908 West Elm, which is currently in the R4 Multifamily Residential District, to C3 General Commercial. The applicant, Mr. Sean Nguyen, has requested the rezone as in support of his efforts to construct a parking lot on this property in support of the nail salon that he's going to be doing tenant improvements to at 401 North Van Buren. The Metropolitan Area Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval at its regular meeting of February 27th, 2023. After this public hearing, you do have a companion piece, which is the ordinance, which the staff would ask you to consider and adopt. Just a little bit more background on this. This request is consistent with the Envision Enid General Plan, or Comprehensive Plan, I should say. It does designate Van Buren as an arterial corridor, but the key takeaway here is it encourages uses along Van Buren like infill uses, to take advantage of existing utility connections, and that is why this is in support of the plan, and it would be in furtherance of promoting a local business. Staff does recommend you consider and adopt the ordinance to rezone this property.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to this topic?
Did this go before MAPS?
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
They approved it?
Unanimously, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Seeing none, thank you. We'll move to item 6.2, consider approval of the ordinance to
Move to
rezone.
approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, cast your ballots.
Push hard.
Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 6.3, hold a public hearing on a request to rezone the property located at 1528 North Grand Avenue from R7 Residential Multifamily District to C3 General Commercial District.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Commission members, this is a request by the applicant, Ms. Valeria Lewis, to rezone a portion of her property, which, as you can see on the map here, is split zoned currently. The property is located at 1528 North Grand. The easterly portion of the property is in the C3 zone, while the undeveloped westerly portion of the property is in the R7 zone. Placing the property in one zone, in this case C3, will allow for its future redevelopment potential. The corridor is supported in our comprehensive plan and identified as a mixed neighborhood mixed-use corridor. So certainly placing this property into a single zone will facilitate that future vision. The utilities are available to serve the property. They currently do and can serve future expansion. Staff does recommend you consider and adopt the companion ordinance to approve this. This was also adopted unanimously and recommended for approval by the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission at its meeting of February 27th.
Okay. All right, this is a public hearing. Does anybody from the audience wish to speak to this topic? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to item 6.4. Consider approval of an ordinance to rezone that property located at 1528 North Grand Avenue from R7 Residential Multifamily District to C3 General Commercial District.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve in a second. Any other discussion? Cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 7, consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Please cast your ballots. Governor, could you help him? Thanks. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 8, recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. Item 9, all trustees of the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 10, the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 10.1, approval of claims in the amount of $1,567,356.70.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 11, adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. Item 12, all trustees of the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 13, the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 13.1, consider approval of a supplemental contract number 2 with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation for the Coronavirus Ad Relief and Economic Security Act, CARES Act, 5311 funding to extend the time frame to expend funds and authorize the mayor to execute necessary documents.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 13.2, approval of claims in the amount of $2,709.67.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Item 14, adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Item 15, we stand adjourned.